Welcome to Building Better Businesses. I'm Kristin Dees, founder of Catalyst Consulting, an agency that helps small businesses and entrepreneurs start, grow, and level up their businesses. This podcast will bring you interviews with experts in all things business related. Have questions for a business attorney? We've got answers. How about your health insurance? Got you covered there too. New episodes coming your way every week. Find us on the podcasting platform of your choice. Thanks for joining us on this episode of Building Better Businesses with Catalyst Consulting. My guest today is Elaine Turso, and I'm super excited to have her. She's a wizard in many things, but today we're talking about some marketing and sales copy strategy and stuff like that. So I'm pretty excited. Thanks for joining me.
Yeah.
It'll be a good time. And we met through the Polkadot Powerhouse. That's actually quite a few of my guests for the last few weeks have been from Polkadot because I reached out and a bunch of you ladies were like, yeah, I'll totally be on your podcast. So
the dots are the best. They always come through. Whatever you need, they always come through.
Yep. Very true. Yeah, I think I've had like 14 or 15 different dots on the show over the course of the last 6-7 months. So so tell us a little bit about you as a human being. Who's Elaine? Where are you from? All that good stuff.
Yeah. So I live, born and raised in a town called Bremerton in Washington State. Sir Mix-a-Lot actually wrote a song about Bremerton way back in the day. So it's an interesting little town. We have a shipyard and our Navy is here. We're a ferry ride away from Seattle. But I'm born and raised here, and I've been married for 20 years, and I'm a mom to a 24-year-old daughter, and my son is almost 20. He is a sophomore in college playing football at the University of Jamestown in North Dakota. He's there on scholarship, which is really amazing. And I'm a dog mom and a grandma to a dog. And I'm a creative and intuitive, and I believe in spreading kindness across the world. And I love rock music, and I am a user of positive profanity.
Yeah, same for the most part. Also, you can swear on this episode if you would like, because yeah, that's my natural vernacular as well. But
same.
It just kind of depends, like on who's on the show. So yeah, you can swear. So yeah, positive profanity. I like creative swear word combinations. When people are more surprised by the thing that I said as opposed to like the swear that was in it, I'm like, that's like, you're like, what did you just say? I'm like,
right?
That's awesome. Yeah. I just mishmashed a bunch of stuff together. So that's good. What's a fun fact about you?
Well, my nickname is Elaine The Brain. And that's because I get intuitive pop rocks when I talk to people. And for a while, I didn't realize that it was a gift. I thought it was like, I didn't know what the hell was going on in my brain. But when I would talk to people, I get like little messages and downloads. And I started realizing that sometimes it's not for me. Sometimes the message is for someone else, but it's still really bizarre. And so I find when I write, and I'm talking to people and I take notes, that's when like it really starts to come through, which is so bizarre. But that is the funnest fact I can think about myself.
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool. I like that stuff. I tend to have some of that, like the intuitive, like perception and all that kind of stuff. It's always made me really good at leadership because I can read things that sometimes other people can't, or they don't sense. And I'm like, something's weird over here.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I love it. It's cool. I like the little messages. Sometimes I think that happens to me, but I don't, it's like not trusting the instinct or whatever. I'm like, I should put this on social media, and I still get scared sometimes to do stuff like that. So
Gotcha.
maybe it will inspire me. Yeah. So what do you do on the work side of things? How do you provide support for business owners and entrepreneurs?
I help entrepreneurs get their offers launched. So like I love to help people create like a big idea and then combine it with strategy. And I use my system and I provide done for you services to help them actually get it done. So that could be anywhere from copywriting, graphics, web development, workbooks, SEO, marketing, visibility, making presentations, content, branding, social media, you name it. I have someone for that on my team. Like, so it's not just me that does it all, but I have what I call the dream team, and whatever I can't do, they supplement, and we just help entrepreneurs get out of their own damn way and get shit done. Like that's the nitty gritty of what I do. I believe we are our own problem and our own solution, and we are the only thing standing in our own way. And so I love to help people get out of that funk and like, okay, let me help you believe in yourself. You can borrow my belief in you until you're ready to believe in yourself. But unless you believe in yourself that you can do this, that you're smart enough, that you're capable, you will sabotage yourself. So I like to help them through that process and get rid of the belief that they're not good at technology or whatever, because it's just a belief. So yeah, I help people just focus on what they're good at, stay in their zone of genius, and let me do the stuff that's not in your zone of genius.
So pretty much anything that touches on any kind of marketing process, basically.
Yep. So I have a marketing agency called INsource It Marketing Agency, because why outsource it when you can insource it?
No, it's good. I like it. I love wit.
Me too. It's my favorite thing ever.
Yeah. No, it's great because like I feel like a lot of the marketing stuff is really hard. It all touches on each other, so it's really hard to do one piece of it. Like I've done a lot of most of that stuff. It's not my favorite thing, but it's like not to be dangerous. I'm a business consultant, so I have to be able to at least know enough to talk about most of the things. And so I've done a lot of like social media content stuff, and it's hard to do it without like the big picture strategy, because it's all connected. So you're like, if you're doing social media, but your website has not the best copy, or it's kind of a mess, or you don't have, like the customer journey planned out, all that kind of stuff. It's all intertwined. So
it's all connected. It's all connected. Yep.
Yep. What's your background? How did you end up where you are now with your own business?
I've always had a business. Like I can't not have a business. But my first business was, I was a scrapbook designer for hire. And then that translated, and I decided that was a good idea to start a business right after having a newborn. I don't know why I thought that was a good idea, but I thought that was a great idea. And then it led into, me opening up my own, photography business, and I had my own studio, and I retired from that after 10 years in 2019, because I really wanted to focus on helping other people with their businesses. I had learned a lot of lessons about how to do it the right way and how to do it the wrong way. And I thought, I could really help people with these problems, because especially after really discovering that I had this gift of this intuitive thing, that I could really use that to help people. And now I went from kind of being a business mentor to now being a launch strategist and doing done for you work. So I don't want to be a VA, but I love doing projects. Like I love helping people complete a project. But I'm not your VA. I'm not going to answer your emails. So I just love all things business. It is like the thing that I was born to do. And I am a terrible employee, which is why I have to have my own business.
Same. Yeah. I've actually said that multiple times about myself. I'm like, I am a nightmare employee, and I would be much worse now.
You do not want me to be in your business, to work for your company, because I will try to change it all.
100%. Yeah. I cannot. Yeah. I'm a great leader. I think, and most people who've worked for me would agree, or at least a good leader, but I'm not a great employee. I get super frustrated with the politics in the game, and having to be whoever somebody else wants you to be to get promoted. And I just, and I can't even imagine how I do after running my own business for 2 years. I just do what I want whenever I want,
Yeah.
They'd be
Yeah.
like, no, we don't want you here. You're obnoxious.
Right.
But yeah, that's funny. No, I love that.
Mm-hmm.
So on the sales copy topic, I think this can get overwhelming. Well, and as you know too, like a lot of people, if they don't have like the natural writing instinct and they're not writers and they're not creatives in that way, like it can be really challenging and intimidating because like you can Google how to do anything. That's the whole point, right? You can Google how to market your business, how to run your business, whatever. But like we're the ones that bring in the extra pizzazz. So anyway, I digress. Is there a formula or process that you use or kind of outline for people for writing sales copy?
Yes. And I have some tips that I'm going to share. So basically, writing copy is all about addressing pains, problems, desires, and solutions, right? And you kind of want to like walk people through their pain and then start introducing solutions, right? But you want to connect with the reader. You need to validate their feelings. You need to validate their pain, and you need to tell them why you are the solution. So some of my favorite things to include in copy are like, what have people already tried and why didn't that work? I also love to share with them the easy way or the hard way, right? The easy way is typically hiring me. That's the easy way. The hard way is to keep doing it the way you've always been doing it. How's that working out for you, right? Some things to remember when writing copy is that people don't buy processes or bullet points. They buy payoffs and solutions. So I have 6 things that every person needs to have when writing copy. The first one is the problem. So number 1, what your clients have that your product or service solves. So what problem are you solving? Number 2 is the solution. And the solution can be something that you have. It can be something that you've learned. It could be something that you can outsource. It can be a skill. It can be your system. It could be a superpower. So it's either a solution that you personally offer or you have someone that can provide that solution. The third one is results. So results are either monetary or emotional. So your result needs to fit in one of those boxes. Okay. Are you going to help them make more money? Are you going to help them save energy? Are you going to help them stop being frustrated? What's the result? The fourth thing is an offer. The offer should be about 10 to 20% of the appraised value of the results. So when you are thinking about pricing your offer, you need to make sure that you are, what is the value of the result that you're providing? Price it 10 to 20% of that. And then number 5 is your audience, which is who has the problem that you're trying to solve. So those are the 6 components that everybody needs to consider when writing copy, is to remember it's not about you, it's about them.
Mm-hmm. No, it's great. That's a great way to frame it up, because I think it's so tough, and there's like so much out there too. Like storytelling is the thing right now, and it's like, yeah, but like, what does that mean? You know?
Telling stories is I 100% advocate for telling stories. If you can give examples, if you can show how someone who purchased your product or service, how they got results, talk about that. Absolutely. Like include that in there. But just remember, it's not the I show, it's the you show. And so it's not about what I can do. It's about let's help you solve this problem versus buy my stuff, because that's not working. Mm-hmm. That's not working. People don't want to be sold to. They want their problem solved.
Mm-hmm. Okay. No, that's great. Mm-hmm. I think it's hard too, because there's so much like counterbalanced information, I think too, where a lot of entrepreneurs don't market themselves and don't actually sell themselves very well. Myself included, I struggle with that a lot of the time, because it's just so hard to be objective about yourself. And but I think there's some of that too, where people kind of swing the pendulum in either direction. It's like, I don't know what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, I get it.
So, that's great.
I get it.
So when it comes to coming up with content, just kind of in general, just like marketing content, social media, etc., is it possible to repurpose content so that you don't burn yourself out?
Absolutely. And I strongly encourage that. So each week, I create written, video, and audio content. And then I take that content and I distribute it to multiple platforms. Then you can go back through your old content and republish it. You can take quotes from it. You can reshare it. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. And the beauty of it is that your audience changes so often that there are people that would never know that you've already published it. And if they did, they probably aren't going to remember because they're too busy with their own damn shit to worry about what you're doing. And oh my God, she's already published this before. How dare she? Nobody is saying that. Yeah. So you every 4 months, every 6 months, whatever, go back through what you've already published. And the other thing too is to keep in mind is that things change a lot sometimes as we are in our business. And so it's okay to take stuff that you've already done and rewrite it now with a different perspective, 4 to 6 months later. So absolutely. And then another thing that I like to share with people when you're struggling with what to say, I don't know what to post. So I don't know what to write about. I don't know what to talk about. There's a website called answerthepublic.com. And what you can do is you can type in a topic and you will see the most commonly asked questions. And then all you have to do is create content answering those questions. So one of the things that I like to do, I have a whole process that I do. So when I talk about writing content, so that's a blog post because I want that SEO, right? So I take that blog post, I put it on Pinterest, I take that content, the blog, the article, whatever, I publish it on LinkedIn if it's related to business. I publish it on Facebook, and then I will take that content and I will break it up into 6, and I will use that for Instagram. And I will create 6 graphics, and I have a grid that I love to use to keep myself organized and make it look polished. And then I will record video around that blog topic. I will do it on Zoom. I will record it. I will upload that to YouTube. And then I take the audio from the Zoom and I upload it to a podcast. And then I can also take that video and now I can create small clips from it and put that on Reels or TikTok. I can also take that video and post it on Facebook as well. I can also post it on LinkedIn. I can then go and add it to my blog if I wanted to and post it again on Pinterest. So it's just a matter of taking your content and figuring out creative ways to put it in multiple platforms. You don't have to do not only just rely on Facebook. I tell my clients this all the time. In fact, we were just talking about this morning. If Facebook were to disappear tomorrow, would you be screwed? And a lot of people would say yes. And so one of the things that I like to do is every time I write a blog post, I also send that out to my email list. Your email list is the only asset that you own. That is like where you can contact people. So your website, you own that. Your email list, you own that. But we do not own Facebook. We are borrowing that platform. So we can't rely on it 100% to market our business. We have to have other ways and other methods to promote and market our business. So let's not rely 100% on Facebook, but let's start building up that email list.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. I also tell people when it comes to like whether or not they should have a website, I'm like, absolutely, because of that reason. Like you can't control what people see on Facebook. You have 0% control over it. It's just whatever the algorithm gods think needs to be seen. And I'm like, if it's your website and your email list and stuff, then you have control over what people see when they see it, how they see it. All that kind of stuff. So, that's huge.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they change the algorithms all the time. So it's like, what,
Yeah.
It's like chasing a unicorn. Yeah, no, that's great. I like that. I try that sometimes. I have there's so much content. There's so many things. I finally accepted the idea of reposting content,
Mm-hmm.
particularly like in my Facebook group, because it's the same kind of thing. I'm like, if 3 months down the road, I like cycle back through the same stuff. I'll have new people in the group. I have different people
Yeah.
in the groups. Different people are engaged at different times. So I'm like, it's
Yes.
fine. It's
Yes.
really okay. And
Yep.
sometimes people need reminders too. They're like, oh yeah, I forgot
Yes.
that was a thing. Like I
That's
can
a
do that
great
with my
reminder.
stories.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And they're going to be in a different place reading it. And if they've seen it before, it's just going to cement, it's going to remind, like you were saying, remind them of how important that is. So we always need to have those reminders.
Mm-hmm. There's just so much content that people absorb these days. And it's like, there's
Yeah.
no way that they're going to remember that it was
I
me.
know. I know. I know. I know.
So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
repurpose. I like it. So you
Mm-hmm.
basically start with the blog post and then splinter out the
I
content from
start with a
there.
blog post and then I splinter everything off of that. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And the other thing too is that, I love to also, I will go seek out content related to my topic and I will share other people's articles, right? Like I can share other people's blog posts or videos or whatever and start a discussion around it, you
Mm-hmm.
know? So it's okay to
Yeah.
share other people's content. Like the more the merrier. And I'm sure they're really appreciative. Just make sure share the link or give credit or quote them or whatever, but don't say it's yours if it's not yours, but it's okay to share other people's content.
Yeah, I found that helps, especially on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
If you call people out and like cross promote stuff, some of my most successful posts have been on LinkedIn with podcast guests that are super active on LinkedIn. Like
Yeah.
the boost that I've gotten from that kind of stuff, just tagging them in
Mm-hmm.
the post is insane. So
Yeah.
plus the shelf life on LinkedIn is so much longer for
Yeah.
a post.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
okay. So then you said you do that like basically on a weekly cycle. So you write a weekly blog post and then
Yep.
move your content out from there. Nice.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I like
Yep.
that.
And I was telling one of my clients she's a graphic designer. And I was telling her today that, she was reminded that somebody's Facebook got hacked and they lost everything. Right. And
mm-hmm.
I told her, I was like, one of the things that that we all need to do, I need to start doing this as well, is that anytime you post something on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, you need to copy and paste that and put that onto your blog. So instead of you could have it doesn't mean you have to distribute it like I do with everything else, but that's the only place that you own. And so you don't
Mm-hmm.
want to, so whether it's a video, whether it's a reel, whether it's a TikTok, whether it's, a question or whatever, post that to copy and paste it and just put it into your blog post because you just never know.
Mm-hmm. That's
Mm-hmm.
smart. That makes sense too. Yeah, because and you like people report people for stupid shit too, and
Yeah.
like I've had people. Yeah, somebody was trying to hack my account, my Instagram
Mm-hmm.
account for like a week, and I kept getting the notifications of like, hey, it looks like you're having trouble logging in. I'm like, why would you want my personal Instagram page?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
But yeah, so you never know when stuff like that can happen too. Like I've
Mm-hmm.
heard lots of horror stories. That's smart.
Yeah.
I like that. So just basically make a blog post out of everything.
Out of everything.
Um,
And it's only going to just increase your SEO anyways. So it's not like, and then you can put it on Pinterest. Why not?
mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, it's I think SEO is so important too, and it's also
mm-hmm.
one of the things that I think intimidates people. So it's like if you are consistently creating content, then why not
right.
maximize it, because it's all different audiences too. So
right, exactly.
Usually.
And let's just be honest here. Pinterest is the third highest search engine. So
mm-hmm.
Google and YouTube are number 2.
Yeah.
And 2. So Pinterest is number 3. So like it's silly not to. It's silly not to.
Mm-hmm. It's huge for driving traffic back to websites too. Like
exactly.
That's one of the really good things. People go in to look at, visual, it's basically visual search. And then they're like, oh, this is a cute outfit, or I like this content. And then they end up on your website and it's like, oh, okay. They have other stuff too.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Cool. So let's talk about sales funnels, because I feel like this is another entrepreneur buzzword that is, I think it's overwhelming, because it's, again, there's all these pieces and all this stuff, and like, how do you connect it all? So how do you
Yeah.
describe the sales funnel process to someone?
Yeah. So I have to tell you that I'm not a super huge fan of the super long sales pages that go on and on and on and on, and you just keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. I'm not a huge fan of that, honestly. But most people would consider that to be their funnel, right? And I like to refer to a sales funnel as my customer's experience or their journey. So, like, what's the process you want to take people through from start to finish? And then I ask myself, how would I want to be treated as a customer? And so one of the things I advocate for is to not remove the human element to running a business. And because I know that so many times we just want to set it and forget it, and it can actually hurt us. And I actually have a story that I can share with you about this. So when I was a photographer, I had seen someone talk about how they had basically automated their entire booking process. They took out the human element. And I thought, ooh, I could do that too, right? And all I have to do is I connected everything. They could book their photo shoot. They could pay for their photo shoot. They could book their the time that they wanted to come in. And all they had to do was show up. And guess what happened? I got zero. And I was like, what is going on? I'm like, oh no, I took out the human element. I took out the human element of my business, and people want to connect with you. They want to feel special. And so once I eliminated that and I went back to the way that I was doing things, guess what happened? Clients started knocking on my door again, because we can't remove the human element. Are there elements of our business that we should automate? Abso-freaking-lutely. Like when someone signs up for your email list, absolutely, that should be an automation, right? Should you send out calendar reminders as automation? Absolutely. But I think that we try so hard. We just want to sit back and do nothing and make money. That's what we want. And I think that if we continue doing that, we're going to see that it's actually going to hurt us in the long run. The people who are going to succeed in business are the ones who are being a human and have a human element to their business. So sales funnels, basically, it's kind of like, okay, they sign up for your lead magnet, right? And then what? You send them emails, or they see a product on your website and they purchase it. And now what happens? How are they going to get that product? So sales funnels are basically what I would just call the customer experience or their journey. And I think that there are ways that it can be short and sweet. You don't want to overeducate, but you also don't want to give them too little information. So some people like to watch videos, some people like to read. So do both, right? Give them a video and give them the transcript of it. But make sure that people understand what you do, because a confused mind says no.
No, that's great. Yeah, it's kind of like the way that I've tried to look at it is that it's your website is essentially your hub, and everything else are the spokes that people get to you through. So it's like, I have a podcast, I have a Facebook group, I have social media content, I have classes and workshops that I teach, and all those kinds of things. And that essentially is like the goal, is to drive everyone back to my hub, my store, my virtual brick and mortar, if you will. Like that's where I want people to go to connect with me. And so there's all these different ways that you can do that and have a presence. And I think some of that too is helpful, because like you said, it's customer journey. It's like somebody's connecting with you and then they're like, oh, this is interesting. She seems like she might know some things. How do I find out more? And then they're like,
Yes, I'm a huge fan of having a free monthly workshop or something like that, and just being able to add value and help people solve their problems. So that's a great example of a sales funnel that I approve of, is to teach and to get people into your experience, because it's human. It's a human element. And people love that. They want to hear they want to connect with you as on a human level instead of just going to a sales page that is so long. And you know what I mean?
I have video all over my website. I have video on my homepage. I have video on my landing page. All of my courses all have video and written, because I'm the same way. Like, I actually don't like watching video to learn stuff. I would rather read something, and then if I need to have a visual of it, have like I hate watching stuff on YouTube to try and learn things, because
I'm so impatient.
Okay. Yeah, me too. I'm like, I can't stand it. I don't know how people do it. But people like that, or some people like to just listen to the audio while they're doing something else. So I'm just like, so that's for me too, because I'm like, if I want people to be able to connect with me, I need to have me on my website, and I don't have a lot of like branding photo shoot stuff, but I'm like, I can make video. I have control over that. I can do that and post it out there. So yeah, I think it's super important. I think it's the missing element in a lot of people's stuff. Like when I'm helping people with their social media content or marketing strategies and stuff in general, I'm like, they have to connect with you. They have to connect with the person behind the business, because they do not give a shit about the thing that you have, because everyone has the thing that you have. Lots of people can do business consulting or marketing strategies or whatever. It's knowing who you are and how you connect. And that's the whole thing on teaching too. That's why I like doing that. It's a good way for people to connect with you in that way, build a little bit of trust. They can ask you questions one-on-one, and you get like that a little bit more individualized experience where they're kind of testing it out before deciding to work with you one-on-one and stuff. So I love it. It's good. The human element. I mean, like, I'd love to just sit on a beach and never do anything, probably.
Wouldn't we all?
I mean, I get bored at some point, but the option would be nice. So, but yeah, you have to do the work first. So, that's good. So, how do you kind of help people? Well, one, I think realize that they actually do have some sales funnels going already. But then like two, how do you kind of create that strategy, especially when you have multiple things going on?
Yeah. So the first thing that I like to encourage people to do is to create a lead magnet of some sort that solves a problem. And I tell people to give away their secret sauce. And I do. I give away my secret sauce. So like, for example, right now, I have a starter kit on my website that basically shares my entire system that I use to help my clients. And I give it away for free because I want to help people. And if I can help them, guess what? I become their hero, right? And then I nurture the heck out of them in that email address. I send more value, more tips, more ideas. And then I connect with them. I send personal emails, personal messages to check on them and see if I can support them in some way. And when they're ready, we can talk, and I'll only make an offer if I really feel like I can help them, because it's not about the money for me. I truly, genuinely want to help people. And so when you have multiple things that you sell or offer, I like to have separate landing pages and maybe even separate URLs. And I try not to offer too many options and choices because, like I said earlier, a confused mind says no. So being able to get them into your experience, because remember, the email address, the email is our email list is the only thing we really technically own besides our website. And so how can you start to nurture that audience? And so I am a huge proponent of, I love to buy URLs. I don't know about anybody else, but I love it. And I don't know why, but I think of something, I'm like, oh, that could be really fun someday. And I go and buy it. So I'll spend like the $12. And I was URL hunting the other day because I'm starting a new business venture with a partner. And we were looking up names and trying to see what domain names were available for our program. And I came across $1 million URL, and I was like, oh my God, I finally found one. Because it's just so crazy. Like some of the, I found one that was $700,000. And I'm like, damn, that's so cool that someone is sitting on this URL, and now they have the ability to sell it for millions of dollars. But
crazy.
I know, but it's so fun. So I love doing that because I think that It just provides additional, like, I do multiple things. I have multiple websites because of that reason. And so I use like a link tree where I will tell people, you want this, go here. You want this, go here. So that they don't have to weed through all of my stuff in order to find what it is that they're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been a creative way for me to because I like to do multiple things and I don't want to confuse people. So I'm really careful about what I post and when I post it and how I word it and the links that I use and things like that. And I try not to do too much at one time. So I'll kind of like have a focus for a little while and then I might shift a little bit. But creating a sales funnel strategy is really about how to attract the customers to you. What are you going to use to attract them to you? And how then are you going to nurture them and add value to their life? And so that's what social media is. That's what people have started using it for, is to attract customers into their experience and then try to nurture them and give them value. And then it may or may not lead ever into a sale, but it's okay because you never know what's going to come out of it. You never know if they may say, oh, I don't need this person, but I know someone who does. And it may be 6 months down the road that all of a sudden now they need you. And you've already built that credibility and the authority and you've nurtured them. They're going to remember that. They're going to remember that you add value to their life. So,
mm-hmm. Yeah, I finally caved and did a link tree like a few months ago, maybe, because I was doing a presentation and I have like, little about me flyers that's like, here's all my contact information, my website, social media. And I had this little thought to just have a QR code, and the QR code takes people to my link tree. And that's where I have like my, cause I have a couple freebies. I have like social media starter kit and a business audit checklist. And then it connects people to my podcast and something else. Yeah, I was like, it was a better than like trying to like list all this stuff for whatever reason. It just seems easier to be like, here's my freebies. So if I'm talking about it during the presentation, I'm like, if you scan the QR code, it'll take you to my link tree and you can pick it from, instead of like, go to my website, go to the top bar, like blah, blah, blah. It just takes them to the page. So I finally was okay with that. Right. It took me a while. But it's a really simple way, like you said. And then when you're focusing on different stuff, you can shift it around and change things. So it's cool.
Yeah.
I had another thought. It'll come back, probably, maybe. But so you talked about launching a little bit earlier, and I think that this is another process that people are like, oh my God, launching, because you can like buy ebooks and take courses on how to like launch whatever your thing is. And there's like all these steps that have to happen in a specific order and timeline. So how do you help this process be less overwhelming for people?
Well, I have a couple of things. The first of all is get help. Get help. Stay in your zone of genius. If you stay in your zone of genius, your confidence will remain intact and you will feel less overwhelmed and get less frustrated. I actually have a checklist on my website that people can download that gives them the 30 things that I recommend to be done when launching anything, whether it's a program or a course or a book or an event or whatever. There's a lot of back end stuff that has to get done. Everything from creating graphics and links and pages and CRMs and CMSs and all the acronyms you could ever think of. But I just want people to do what they're good at, because when we are out of our zone of genius, when we are out of alignment, we procrastinate and we start focusing on perfectionism and we start working on things that are not actually going to get us closer to our goal because we're avoiding doing the thing that we don't like to do. So why not just hire someone to do that element for you so that you can do what you're good at and let someone else do what they're good at? I'm not good at bookkeeping. I freaking hate it. So I delegate that. I hire someone else to do that. And guess what? I'm happy to pay the $400 for that because now I don't have to stress out about it. I can continue doing the things that I love to do. And I encourage people to do that. every single day. Don't do something. It's pointless for you to spend 3 hours in Canva designing a graphic when it could take me 30 minutes. Like, really, is that the best use of your time? And what I tell people is that they always say, but I can't afford it. And I say, okay, let me ask you this. If you gave away this thing that was going to take you 3 hours to do, and it was going to take me 30 minutes, what could you do with that 3 hours to bring in income? What is an income generating activity that you could bring in, that you could do in that 3 hours that's going to pay for me? It cost me 30 minutes. Right. And so they're like, oh, I'm like, you pay for people by replacing that time with income producing activities. So whether it's having a call with a client, or whether it's doing whatever you do to earn income, being able to buy back your time and focus on doing the things that you're good at.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a good way to look at it too. Is like, don't replace it with other admin stuff. Replace it with something
that's going to generate income. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's great. Mm-hmm. So as an entrepreneur and business owner yourself, what advice would you give other business owners when it comes to running theirs?
Okay. So the first thing I'm going to say is to hire a coach. I think every business owner needs to have a coach. You need to have an accountability buddy. You need to be in a mastermind somewhere, something out there that you can talk with other trusted entrepreneurs to make sure that you are on track. If you have the ability to network, go find your tribe, but don't just find your tribe, go all in. So when you find that group, whether it's a BNI or it's a Polkadot Powerhouse or it's your local chamber of commerce or eWomen or whatever the heck you have in your community, go all in. Because what I'm telling you right now is that as an entrepreneur, when I first started my photography business and I found networking, I went all in, and I made sure to attend everything. I showed up. I rarely had a sub for my BNI meeting, right? I showed up, and guess what happened? My business exploded because I went all in. I spent the time to build those relationships and to connect with people on an individual level. And that is exactly what being an entrepreneur is about, is to connect with people. And I loved connecting other people together that needed to know each other. So I became a hero because they would call me and say, Elaine, I need XYZ. And I'm like, great, this is who I know. This is who I trust. And so I became the person to go to find the person that someone else needed. And what did that do? It built up my credibility and my business because I was happy to help other people connect. And so don't just network and just show up and think, oh, nobody's buying from me. What are you doing to build those connections and build that trust and that relationship? Because people do business with people they know, like, and trust. So I think it's really important if you're going to run a business, you have to go all in and you have to connect with other people face to face. You just cannot expect that you have a business and people are going to come knocking down your door. You have to get out and tell people what you do, and you have to build those relationships. It is a absolute must.
I'm totally on the same page with that too. I tell people all the time, I grew my business in a pandemic.
Yeah.
By networking in a pandemic.
Yes. Same.
It became virtual at some point, but it's huge. And like you said too, the go all in, like that's the piece that I think a lot of people miss out on. They show up to a meeting and then they leave. But I'm like, you get the business cards, you reach out to people, you're like, hey, Elaine, I really like what you do. It sounds interesting. I'd like to learn more about it. And you make the connections, and you're not trying to sell stuff. That's the whole thing. Like people go, oh, I need to make all these connections and I need to try and sell stuff. It's like, no, you just tell them what you do and they tell you what you do, and you find the people that you want to work with, and the people that want to work with you know they want to work with you. Like, I don't have to hard sell. I can tell, for one, I can tell if I send a proposal, if someone's going to actually do it or not, before I even send it, because I just know. And the people who do want to work with me, when I describe what I do, they're like, oh, that's amazing. Like, I definitely need your help. Like, cause you have these strengths and I really struggle with this and I need some help right now. And I don't have to be like, what, I don't know, whatever like closing techniques there are, because I'm not a salesperson. I hate it. I hate sales. I've always been a relationship builder. Even when I worked in sales, in retail. So it's huge. You've got to make the connections. The one-on-one stuff, because like you go to the meeting and you can't really connect with people there in the same way, because there's usually some sort of presentation or like everyone's going around and introducing themselves. That's just kind of like the little mixer, and then you go meet with a handful of people from that group and go from there, and then it continues to expand. I can't even tell you. That's like, you have to. I tell people all the time, I'm like, you don't like go build a building and put a bunch of cool shoes in it and then just sit there and wait for people to show up. Like that would make no sense at all. And that's what people do on social media too, especially when they're starting a following. I'm like, it's going to take forever. Like you have to go out and join Facebook groups and talk to people about what your thing is and get to know people that are in your market or your interested customers, and do the same thing locally too. But anyway, sorry. I asked you, I'm like diatribe.
I get it.
But seriously, you must. And I'm an introvert. I have to go fetal at least 3 times a week and just not speak to anyone for 2 hours, and that's fine. But I'm great at connecting, and I love building relationships with people. You can do it. You have to.
I use the meetings to figure out who I need to connect with. And I pick 5 people, someone I've never met before, someone that could be a fun connect, someone that's not like me at all, someone that is like me, and someone that I can help. So like I connect 5 is my goal when I go to meetings, is that I'm there to listen for keywords and figure out who do I want to connect with.
No, it's great. Do it. Go talk to people.
Go talk to people.
So what resources do you wish you had known about at the beginning of your journey?
Oh my God. When I started my business, my photography business in 2009, so I had my scrapbooking business started in 2001. But I wish that I would have known that business coaching was a thing. I don't even know, like looking back in 2009, I mean, Facebook was still kind of very new. And I didn't even know business coaches were a thing. But I'm telling you, I believe without a shadow of a doubt, had I had a coach from the beginning, I would have gotten results a lot faster, and I would have made enough income to quit my job in a year instead of 3 years. I think that because I didn't have the confidence, I didn't know how to charge myself, how to price myself in a way that would actually help me replace my JOB income. I was trying to be everybody's photographer, and I thought that being cheap was the way to do that. And I wish that I had someone, a professional in my corner saying, don't do that. Oh my God, would have made such a huge difference for me. So that is the one thing I wish I could have gone back. And I know what I would have said, but I don't have the money. I would have said it because I had a scarcity mindset. I didn't really know about abundance mindsets. This was 2009. We have come so far. Yeah. We have come so far in that, in that 12 years. So I just believe that I'm a firm believer that everybody needs a coach, and I have 2 coaches, and I get different things from each of them. And I don't sit there and go, I can't afford it. I say, how can I afford this? What do I have to do? How many clients do I need to get in order to be able to pay for this? And they help me figure out how to pay for them. Right. So it's not about, I can't afford it. It's figure out a way. Because if you truly want to have a successful business, you need to have that person in your corner. And it's okay to interview multiple people to figure out which one you actually jive with. One of the things that I am really passionate about is coaches teach theories, right? And one of the things I love is that we learn. But Where we fall short is that we don't do. So I love to help people take what they've learned and actually implement it into their business, because that's why they're just in that constant state of education. But let's actually put it into motion. Coaches don't do done for you services. My company does. We do both. But most coaches don't do it for you. They don't implement it for you. You still have to do the work. And if you don't know how to do it, you're going to stay stuck. So get help. Hire people. Even if you can't afford it, just do it.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, the sports analogy, like there's always at least one coach, and there's usually different coaches for different specialties of whatever the sport is.
Exactly.
Because Michael Jordan can't see what he's doing.
Right.
Or he definitely couldn't back then. Like we didn't have videos and smartphones and all that kind of stuff. So it's like you can't fix your own swing or your own shot swing. I play golf all the time. Michael Jordan didn't. Oh, I guess he played baseball. Anyway, I digress. So
one season.
Still applies.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can't see yourself when you're playing whatever the game is. And so having somebody that can see you from the outside and be like, oh, just like come back a little bit further. Okay. All right. Now you're good. And you're like, oh, holy shit. Oh my God. I can hit a golf ball again. Like, that's, okay. It's the same concept. Like I think a lot of people feel weirder about it, and like when it comes to like the mental coaching, I guess. So,
yeah.
No, 100%. Okay. So tell us how we can best support you. What are you working on? How do we find you on the internet, etc.?
So I'm Googleable. If you Google Elaine Turso, you'll find out all the things about me. But I have a lot of cool stuff coming up. I'm coming out with my new book. It's called it's profanity. So if you don't like profanity, cover your ears. But it's called Getting Unfucked: The Entrepreneur's Guide to Getting Out of Your Own Damn Way and Getting Shit Done. And then I'm actually a part of another book that's coming out in January, which is all about the endotype formula. And then I'm excited for a new partnership with a friend, Denise Oster. We're creating a program called Rapid Growth Rockstars, and we'll be combining our skills together to provide mindset and confidence, along with marketing and strategy and done-for-you services and everything you need in order to get launched. And so I'm really excited about that. But I'm on all the platforms. You literally just Google my name and you can find me anywhere. Elaine Turso, and then I have my INsource It Marketing page and Instagram as well. And I'm all over the place. So I love to connect with new people. I love to meet new people. I love to learn what people do, because I like to be that connector. So when I connect with people, I take notes. And then when I meet someone else, I'm like, oh my gosh, do you know this person? And I connect them together, because I feel like that is how I can contribute something positive to the world, is connecting people that need to know each other. So that's one of my superpowers is doing that. So I'm all over the place, though. Come find me, literally.
It's true. I Googled you because I always like to look at, the stuff before an episode. And I was like, oh, she is.
I am all over the place. Yeah. The funny thing is,
even your photography stuff still comes up too.
I know, but here's why. Oh, I'm so angry about this. I'm trying to remember what language it is. Oh my gosh. I figured out what language it was. Somebody purchased ElaineTursoPhotography.com. And if you go to it, it's a gambling site in another language.
What?
Yeah. Because my website had a lot of traffic. So when I let my domain expire, because I was no longer doing photography, someone purchased my website domain name and has it. I don't understand it, but it's a gambling website. So they're probably still getting traffic. Right. So that's a thing, which I'm like, and there's nothing I can do about it. There is not a damn thing I can do about it either. Yeah. So they legitimately purchased it. Smart move for them.
Well, there you go.
Damn it for me.
Yeah, that's so weird. So weird.
Yeah, so don't click on it. It just gives them traffic.
Yeah, don't do it.
Yeah.
That's funny. All right. Well, thanks for joining me. Thanks thanks for sharing tons of wonderful advice and tips and tricks and whatnot. And yeah, I appreciate you.
Yeah, no problem. It was super fun to come in. I love to share all the stuff in my brain. So
it's a great place for it.
Yes.